Although cell phones have many overlapping capabilities with computers, they have many features that set them apart. Some of these overlapping abilities include those that are listed in the both column, like the ability to use platforms such as Google Docs, EasyBib, and Edmodo, the ability to provide and receive immediate feedback, and the ability to facilitate participation and collaboration. On the left-hand side are some capabilities that computers have, like the ability to type more efficiently and quickly, a larger screen. There are some websites that are easier to navigate on a computer. It's easier to select and edit graphics, and they're better for production. Here are some of the capabilities that cell phones have, like constant access to service or internet almost anywhere. They're more mobile, portable, and have a longer charge. Students develop a social relationship with their devices. Some apps are easier to use and navigate. It's easier to take photos, screenshots, or video, and they're more cost effective. For example, in the United States, administrators and teachers are finding the cost to continually purchase, repair, and upgrade computer technology to be overwhelming. Thus, cell phones have become more appealing. We believe that cell phones have the ability to be transformative. That being said, we wanted to include a disclaimer that cell phones aren't necessarily transformative in and of themselves. Let me explain. Thomas M. Phillip and Antero Garcia conducted a research study to determine the different assumptions held by adults and youth about the institutionalization of cell phones in classrooms. Their project sought to bridge students in school and out-of-school identities and learning, and thus support the increased participation of marginalized groups within STEM fields by introducing curriculum that encouraged an inquiry-based approach to learning by enabling the collection of personally relevant data with mobile phones. The curriculum was implemented in 7 urban high schools in Southern California, and due to equity concerns, all students were issued an Android smartphone rather than using their own device. When interviewing students at all 7 schools, Phillip and Garcia found several repeating themes in their conversations. First, liability for the phones was a stressor for students. They didn't want to use the device for fear that they might break it and have to pay a fine. Second, the restraint on freedom to use the cell phones as they pleased put a damper on their feelings towards the device. Most social sites and games were blocked. Third, because school-issued devices couldn't be used in social ways like taking pictures or communicating via texting, students didn't care for the device. Finally, students expressed that they felt the adults were trivializing their interests, so they were resistant to using the device. Consequently, Phillip and Garcia's research leaves us with 2 important takeaways. First, youth interest that involves smartphones is not tied to the device, but exists in relationships or activities that the device facilitates. Second, adult assumptions about youth interest in new technologies and their neglect of situated social meanings of these devices often occlude meaningful learning in schools. Considering the limitations of cell phones and what Phillip and Garcia's study revealed, we wanted to identify how cell phones can actually be used to transform classrooms using technology that exists today. Our approach to cell phones reflects Matt Britland's belief about the future of technology in education. He writes, "So what is the future? Is it the iPad? No, I don't think it is. For me, the future is not about one specific device. The future is about access, anywhere learning and collaboration, both locally and globally. Teaching and learning is going to be social. Essentially, devices will change over time, but cell phones are a great way to facilitate the social mobile learning that Britland describes. With this in mind, we identified 6 major ways that this can occur, including the organization of schools and classrooms, student engagement, supplemented content instruction, immediate feedback, alternative assignment options, and parent and family communication. There are many different apps, tools, and interfaces that can be used to organize the classroom, for both students and for teachers. One of the best apps for cell phone use is Evernote. On Evernote, students and teachers can take and organize notes, create notebooks for different classes, share their notebooks with colleagues and students, share templates, worksheets, photos, and screenshots of the whiteboard, and even classify and organize things with tags. Another useful platform for use on cell phones is Google Classroom. Teachers can assign quizzes and immediately see class results. Google Classroom can also be used to share assignments, conduct polls in real time, and facilitate class discussions, as students can post to a wall like they would on Facebook. Finally, Google Classroom is a great way for teachers and students to organize current and old assignments. Cell phones are also a great way to engage students in the classroom. Cell can be used for competitive games, instruction or review, participation through polls or texting and responses, and quick comprehension checks. Here are 3 great apps or sites that can be used on phones. First is Kahoot. Kahoot is a popular review game where students log in with a class code and race against each other for the top score. This video shows a junior high school science class playing Kahoot.
Would you find the number of protons or electrons in an atom? Would you look at the atomic number? Would you look at the atomic mass number? Or subtract the atomic number from the atomic mass?
Yes. I'm behind Emmanuel. I'm in like mission. Third. I'm in 8th. You're 9th. Oh, Debbie's actually in second. I'm behind Abby.
How would you determine the number of neutrons in an atom?
Subtract the atomic number from the atomic mass number, look at the atomic mass number, and look at the atomic number.
Oh my god. Hey, no, it's 7. I'm behind Carly.
As you can see, students can see the answer options on the board, text in their answer, and race each other for the top score. PollAnywhere.com is another great tool for teachers to use for comprehension checks. Students can text their answer to a code, and teachers will immediately see what percentage of the class answered the correct question. Finally, another tool is BrainPop. BrainPop can be used for instruction and for review because it has instructional videos for every grade level and every content area with quizzes following each video. In addition to general ways of engaging students, there are thousands and thousands of content-specific apps that provide everything from full instructional lessons to intervention, review, and enrichment. With these apps, students can interact with information in a variety of ways. They can save their progress and review what they learned at home. They can bookmark and organize lessons and benefit from enrichment or intervention. Here are a few examples. Shakespeare in Bits allows students to read plays alongside animated video clips of each scene. They can select highlighted vocabulary to view definitions, read summaries of acts, view character descriptions, and more. Another app is Anatomy Lab, which takes users through a virtual dissection of a real human cadaver. MyScript Calculator is a math app that allows students to draw simple and complex mathematical operations with their finger. The operation will be solved by the app without the need to input a formula into a calculator. Finally, Grammaropolis is an app designed to teach younger students about the different parts of speech. This app shows students fun videos demonstrating how each part of speech works within the sentence, and the characters literally come to life. Immediate feedback is another benefit of using phones in the classroom. For example, when my school transitioned to a one-to-one school, I had each of my students download the Google Drive app. Here, you can see some comments that I made on a student's essay. Hypothetically, the student could be riding the bus to school, see the comments that I made on his essay, and edit it before he arrives for the day. Of course, it's much easier to write and edit a paper on a larger device, but I would frequently have students who would use their phone to write a paper instead of using their Chromebook because it wasn't charged or because they left it at home. On Google Docs, peers can see each other's assignments and provide feedback, and teachers can digitally supervise the writing process. Cell phones also facilitate collaboration. Before students had ubiquitous access to class assignments on the cloud, group work was a challenge when a group member would be absent. Now, shared documents allow students to work in class and from home, in addition to keeping them more accountable for what they do. Third, cell phones guide and inform future instruction using quizzes and comprehension checks. So here's a picture of a Google Classroom quiz. This quiz can be shared with students who can take it on their phones or on any device. Then, the teacher can post the responses on the board so they can go over the quiz results. Here, you can see that the multiple choice responses show what percentage of students got the correct answer, whereas the short answer below allows the teacher to scroll through the typed responses. This is another great way to provide immediate feedback.